DC News Now.
We know that at least 3 people have lost their lives, including the juvenile person.
A deadly shooting has been reported at a private school in Wisconsin's capital, where we're learning about the details unfolding at this hour. Plus, Prince George's County now facing legal action after a child was hit and killed on his way to school, why his family now says the tragedy could have been prevented. Then, in the district, could Councilman Trayon White be booted from his seat? Council members now considering expulsion as the Ward 8 leader faces bribery charges.
More rainfall is on the way tonight across the DMV. We'll let you know if there will be more soggy weather later this week.
And a new holiday market is joining DC's lineup this week. How long it will be set up at Union Station.
Every child, every person in that building is a victim and will be a victim forever. These types of trauma don't just go away.
And breaking at this hour, officials say at least 3 people have now died in a school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin, including the student who opened fire there. We've just learned the 2 people killed are a teacher and a teen student there. Thanks to joining us so much for DC News Now here at 4. I'm Annalisa Gale. Mark Hall has the evening off. Police say at least 7 others had to be rushed to the hospital. They were hurt in that shooting, which comes the week before Christmas break. It all unfolded at a small private Christian school just before 11 a.m. Officers say they found multiple people dead when they responded, including a juvenile who they believe is the shooter. The school has about 400 students from kindergarten to high school, according to its website. Madison Police Chief there, Sean Barnes, saying this is something the department trains for, but hope they never have to respond to.
The protocols are simple. Stop the killing, stop the dying, find out who's doing this. And the officers did that, and they did that adamantly.
Now, a law enforcement source telling the Associated Press they believe the shooter used a 9mm pistol. We're also told at least 6 of the 7 people hurt are students. Their injuries range from minor to life-threatening. A few other details have been released at this hour. We'll be sure to keep you updated on air and online. And breaking news closer to home now in Virginia. The man accused of killing his wife and another man in their Herndon home now facing child abuse charges. A grand jury indicting Brendan Banfield on 1 count of felony child abuse and neglect and 1 count of child cruelty. It's all connected to his alleged actions in February of last year. Prosecutors say Banfield killed his wife, Christine, and another man, Joseph Ryan, with the help of his family's au pair, who he was allegedly having an affair with. Investigators say Banfield's 4-year-old daughter was in the home at the time of the crimes. Banfield's trial date is currently set for February. And now to a traffic alert here at 4 o'clock. A deadly 2-car crash is causing some delays in the portion of I-95 in northern Virginia there. This is a live look at the northbound lanes at the 163-mile marker there in Lorton. We're told the passenger in one of the cars there passed away and the driver has life-threatening injuries. The cause of that crash is still under investigation at this hour. All right, turning over to our forecast now. Ooh, foggy out there here at the cathedral still. We saw some rain this morning. Meteorologist Damon Matson joining us now with our look at our forecast. Damon, how's it looking now?
Well, not much improved, Annalisa. That fog has been pesky all day long. We haven't had any additional rainfall since earlier this morning, but there's just a lot of moisture still left in the air. And we have dense fog enough to the point where we have a dense fog advisory now in effect until 8 p.m. out across some of our western counties. I'm talking Allegheny, Washington, over into Berkeley, Morgan counties in West Virginia. So it is a small section of the DMV that is seeing the worst of the fog, but you just saw that live view there here in DC. Well, it's just as foggy that will limit that visibility and cause some problems perhaps on the roadways. But there it is. That dense fog is out to the west where visibility is down to less than a mile. And that is very difficult, especially on those roads, to see very far in front of you there. DC a little bit better, but notice that visibility number still very low. We usually see 10s across the board here when it's totally clear. Now, not only do we have the fog, but the next round of rain is starting to move in. Showers are popping up out across the Shenandoah Valley into the Allegheny front, and soon enough, the district and everybody else to the east will be seeing this next round of rain. So things will be turning soggy as we head into the overnight hours, and temperatures will actually be going up. So how long does this bit of soggy weather last? Is it going to be another messy day out there tomorrow? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Well, in the district now, D.C.'s council is moving forward with an effort to expel Councilmember Trayon White. This after an investigation found substantial evidence that White broke D.C. council code. White is accused of accepting bribes in exchange for his influence on city contracts. D.C. News Now's Marielle Carbone is live at the Wilson Building now with the latest details. Marielle, what else are you learning here?
Well, tense moments inside the meeting today with White supporters filling the gallery. Now, despite his constituents lobbying council members to simply reprimand White, all 11 voting members of the council deciding to move forward with that expulsion process.
The motion is adopted.
In a unanimous vote, D.C. Council moving forward with expelling one of their own.
This is quintessential corruption.
Last week, law firm Latham & Watkins, which was hired to investigate Trayon White, released its report. Finding substantial evidence, White broke council code, using his position on the council for personal gain. The investigation is separate from a federal investigation in which White is charged with 1 count of bribery.
This incident has damaged the public trust necessary for government to function well. Anything less than expulsion will not rectify the situation.
Monday, all voting council members supporting a recommendation to expel, saying other options to reprimand or censure White weren't enough.
The evidence is clear.
Councilmember Robert White offering this.
It is my hope that Councilmember Trayon White will not see this process to the end, but will resign.
After the vote,
no comment at the moment, thank you.
White did not speak to media, but before the meeting, he made a brief statement.
There has been no clear evidence of nobody in all these interviews saying that I tried to bribe them.
We went out to the polls to vote for Trayon White.
White supporters like Nate Ward say the voters have spoken.
If something did happen and it was proven, we have forgiven him.
And this is not the final vote. What will happen next is a public hearing likely set for January 28th, and White is able to participate in that himself. The vote, it will come after that, likely the next legislative meeting. Following the hearing, that would be on February 4th, and there does need to be 10 out of the 11 council members voting in favor of this expulsion for it to actually happen. Reporting for the Wilson Building, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, Marielle, thank you. Well, new at 4, the family of the 5-year-old boy that was hit and killed while walking to school last year has now filed a lawsuit against the driver, the vehicle owner, Prince George's County, and also the Board of Education. DC News Now, Skylar Salas covers that area for us. She has the latest.
Sky Sosa is remembered by his family as the light that lit up their home, but it's now been over a year since that light left their home. Now the family has filed a lawsuit to make sure what happened to Sky doesn't happen again.
It's just an awful thing for a parent to have to go through, sending their child to school and then getting that call 5 minutes later.
On November 20th, 2023, Sosa was walking to Riverdale Elementary School when he was struck and killed crossing at an intersection. 2 others, his father and a 10-year-old girl, were also hit. The 10-year-old girl also died. Daniel Cohen, who represents the family, says they filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the driver, Olga Jimenez, the vehicle owner, Ruth Santos, Prince George's County, and the Board of Education.
We want to make sure through this lawsuit that there are safeguards put into place so that this does not happen to another family again.
The lawsuit accuses the school board of failing to provide a new crossing guard after the position became vacant. They also accuse the county's Fire and Rescue Services Department of a delay in transporting Sky to the hospital, which contributed to his death.
It's something that stays with them every single day. They just had to mourn for the year passing of the anniversary of when Sky died. And, you know, I can't sugarcoat it. It's just a very difficult thing to lose your child like that so unexpectedly.
The driver, Olga Jimenez, was charged in June 2024. She faces several charges, including criminally negligent manslaughter. She is set to be back in court in January. We also reached out to the county and Board of Education and have not heard back. In Riverdale, Skylar Salas, DC News Now.
Skylar, thank you. And right now, the Prince George's County Police Department is hiring school crossing guards. These are part-time positions with starting salaries of $20 to $27 an hour, plus full-time benefits there. Interested candidates can apply online through the Prince George's County Police Department's website. Also in our schools now, the My School DC lottery is now open in the district. The lottery gives families a chance to rank the schools they want their children to go to. The results are random and based on the available spaces there at each school. The application deadline for high school students is February. For elementary and middle school students, the deadline there is in March. All right, turning now to sports. The Washington Commanders went down to the wire with the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, but in the end, the Commanders walking away with a 20-19 victory. Pretty close. Sports director Derek Forrest joining us now with analysis. Derek, yeah, that was a tough one to watch.
Yeah, it was a tough one to watch, but at the end of the day, a win is a win, right? And now the Commanders still look good when it comes to postseason positioning. The Commanders, they improved to 9-5 on the season and now have a 91% chance of making the postseason. But it wasn't the easiest game to watch as a fan, especially down the stretch. The Commanders, they started the game by taking a 14-0 lead into halftime. The second half was a different story. Washington hurt by too many penalties and missed opportunities. 9 penalties for the team, which allowed the Saints to get back into the game and outscored the Commanders 19-6 in the second half. But the team, they found a way to get it done as New Orleans, they couldn't convert on a 2-point conversion to win the game.
First half, that's definitely the one that you want, but the second half, that's the one that you need. And we need everything right now. We're still a team that's growing and developing, and we've had some crazy situations so far. And as the calendar turns, it gets even wilder. And so I'm thankful, honestly, for some of the hard moments and the adversity. It is when we grow the most. So to get a road win, number 9, was a big deal.
Well, we got a big deal this weekend because the Commanders, they have another big game as division rival Philadelphia comes to town for the second matchup of the season. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. Sunday over at Northwest Stadium as the Commanders will look to win their 3rd straight game. Annalisa.